Welcome back. So another week, another adventure. So where are we going this time? This time we're going to a few famous landmarks and a couple of famous graves around the Dallas area. I'm referencing the great Bonnie and Clyde. If you didn't know, they do have roots here in Dallas. So we're going to go check out some of those roots and check out some of those landmarks and their graves as well. So let's go. So as you can see here, we're to the west side of the Margaret Hunt Hill Bridge, which you see right there in the background. Right near the Trinity River right here in Dallas, west side of Dallas. This right here is where the Trinity River Squatters Camp used to be, and it's a little windy down here just because of the water. So I apologize for that in advance, but this area right here, this mucky, marshy area is where the Squatters Camp used to be. This is where Clyde Barrow actually grew up. They lived in a tent in the mud with the Dallas skyline looming in the background right down here. All the Barrows lived in this little mucky area. Now, according to what I read, the Barrows, the first few months they lived down here in the squatters camp along the Trinity, they slept in their wagon because they couldn't afford a tent just yet. And that must have been just absolutely miserable. You know, they'd come out of here and, you know, all the squatters that lived down here in this mucky area would come out here and look at the Dallas high-rise and all the fancy shops that were across the street or across the way over there. Probably just envious, and here they are living in pretty much squalor in this marshy area known as the Trinity River Squatters Camp. But it was after this where the Barrows moved into their house over on Singleton, which we're going to go check out here in just a little bit. But yeah, this is where Clyde Barrow grew up, actually, right here. He started off living down here by the Trinity River in the Trinity River Squatters Camp right here. It's the west side of Dallas, on the west side of the Margaret Hunt Hill Bridge, right down the hill from Trinity Groves. For all you people who live here in Dallas, you'll know what I'm talking about. But yeah, this is where it used to be, right here. All right, we're here at our next stop at this old, dilapidated, it looks almost condemned building. This was actually the Clyde Barrow family home. This is where they moved to after they lived over at the squatters camp. Clyde's parents, Henry and Cumie Barrow, purchased this home of 9 once they saved up enough money to move from that squatters camp. And they lived right here. So the home itself is located right here on Singleton Boulevard. But back in the 30s, when this home was purchased by the Barrows, that road was actually called Eagle Ford Road, not Singleton. So the name changed to Singleton back in 1942, allegedly because of the unfavorable association with the area, poverty, and of course Bonnie and Clyde themselves. And according to the Oak Cliff Advocate, the Barrows home here was originally located on Muncie Avenue, but it was moved here so that the Barrows can turn it into a gas station. As you can tell out front, it looks like it used to be some sort of gas station. So that's what the Barrows turned it into, the front part, and they lived right here in the back. But yeah, I don't know how much longer this possibly could be here because it's not classified as any type of landmark. So who knows? If you get a chance to come down here and see it, I would. Before, who knows if it even gets demolished. Yeah. Well, somebody wrote the word, spray painted the Clyde right up there. Let's go back and take a look at the front. It's right across the street. There's some really nice apartments right across the street from the Barrow house. Yeah, there it is. I don't know if you can see inside. Let's take a... Oh, wow. I don't know if you could see that. It says Clyde Barrow right there in the window. I don't know if you could see inside, but All you can probably see is my reflection. Yeah, that's tough. So here we are. Our next spot here is the Sidney Lanier School. Again, this is west of Dallas, just right down the road from where Clyde's gravesite is. I mean, literally like 5 minutes. This is the school where Clyde attended 6th grade, right here. But yeah, he didn't make it through 6th grade, according to what I've read. He ended up quitting school and ended up taking a few odd jobs and then started stealing. But yeah, he was arrested for the first time at the ripe old age of 17. Here's the sign for the Sidney Lanier School right here. I don't know if this actual sign was around when Clyde went to school here. Maybe not, but maybe it was. I don't know. But yeah, this is it. This is where Clyde attended 6th grade before dropping out and pursuing that life of crime that we all know him for. Right here, Sidney Lanier School.
Thousands attend the homecoming of Clyde Barrow. In this Dallas funeral home, his body lies as a never-ending line of men, women, and children from every walk of life file by his casket for a fleeting glimpse of the boy who had wrought so much death and destruction. Everyone wanted to see how such a bad boy looked in death. In life, his very presence would have struck fear to their hearts, but now they fear him not. Clyde's body is borne to the grave. Again, tragedy and shame descend upon his aged father and mother. Like his brother Buck, he died at the hands of the law.
So a little history here on Bonnie and Clyde, if you weren't aware of what they're most notorious for. Yeah, they were American gangsters. They went through the central United States. Sorry, there's a lot of traffic. The graveyard here, it's on a busy highway or a busy road. So, but anyway, Bonnie and Clyde, notorious gangsters. Their gang terrorized the central United States. Bank robberies, gas stations, you named it, they pretty much robbed it. And what happened was they were believed to have killed at least 9 police officers and 4 civilians. And they were gunned down and killed back on May 23rd, 1934 by an ambush of the police. So that's kind of a brief history of Bonnie and Clyde. I mean, that's really all you need to know. That's what they're notorious for. So right now, I'm looking at the graveyard where Clyde Barrow himself is buried. And here we are. This is the Western Heights Cemetery. It's a little west of downtown Dallas. Not really the best part of town. So if you do decide to come down here, there's a parking spot of a business that's right next door to it. That's where we parked. It seemed to be closed, so hopefully no one will come out there and bother you. But yeah, it's, you know, if you do come down here, it's best to come in the daytime anyway. So yeah, this is Western Heights Cemetery right here. This is where Clyde himself is buried. So we're gonna make our way inside. And it's really small, very old too. So we're gonna make our way in and show you Clyde's gravesite. Here's a little sign right here when you first enter the cemetery. It's right here on the left-hand side. A little landmark about the Western Heights Cemetery. You guys want to read that overview. And here's the inside of the Western Heights Cemetery. We'll make our way over to Clyde's grave here in just a little bit. There's a couple people over there right now, so I just wanted to make sure, you know, want to make sure they leave before we head on over there. But yeah, you can see it's right here in the neighborhood, old neighborhood. You can see Liz, I got my co-director back with me this week. She's over there wandering the premises, looking at graves. That's a nice graveyard. I wouldn't want to come out here at night. Very, very old. But yeah, interesting, huh? So when you first enter the grave, or the cemetery, Clyde's grave is right to the left. You'll see these little stepping bricks here, this little pathway that leads right to his grave. So let's make our way over there. We're going to check it out. So when we get up there, you're going to see Clyde's grave, but you're going to see his brother, Buck Barrow. They share a grave right near their mother. And you're going to notice there's an empty spot right to the left of their graves. So from what I've read online, they're hoping this empty plot will someday bring Bonnie over here, and then Bonnie and Clyde can be reunited right next to each other. You'll see right there. But yeah, here it is. This is the grave of Clyde Barrow. March 24th, 1909 to May 23rd, 1934. And there's his brother Marvin Buck Barrow. March 14th, 1905, died July 29th, 1933. You'll see people are coming out here. They're leaving some booze. It's kind of fitting. There's some garland right here. Not sure what that's for, but we got some garland right here on the tree to the right of the grave plot. There's the empty spot where they're hoping Bonnie will someday be relocated right here. Yeah, once you enter the gravesite, I mean the graveyard here, it's easy to find. I mean, you'll see all these flowers and liquor bottles next to the tombstone. So let's take one more look at Clyde's headstone. Right there. It's the grave of Clyde Barrow. Dude, I just noticed right behind Clyde's grave there's some more liquor bottles. And look, there's also a tiny little pumpkin gourd right there. So our next stop here brings us to Eagle Ford School. Right now this is no longer a school. It's they use this venue for a wedding venue for the most part. In 2017, the Dallas Landmark Commission saved this Eagle Ford School from demolition. So ever since then, they have converted it into a wedding venue. I was just inside there, and it's really, really nice inside. I went in and asked permission to make sure it was okay that I filmed out here because there is a private property sign out front, video surveillance. So I just didn't want to come here and, you know, look creepy with a camera outside. So the lady was very, very nice. So if you do come here, just make sure you go in and ask, make sure it's okay to film outside. But anyway, when Bonnie attended school here, she dreamed of being a famous poet and an actress. She was also regarded as an outstanding student. You wouldn't think that, but yeah, she was. And as a teenager, though, she did have a taste for bad boys. So yeah, believe it or not, a good student had a taste for bad boys. That's when she ran into her very first husband, Roy Thornton. Roy Thornton basically was a bad boy. He drifted in and out of jail, and her and Roy were actually still married during the time of her crime spree with Clyde. But yeah, this school is a little west of Dallas. A very nice building, smaller in person. There's the landmark plaque, built in 1923. Eagle Ford School, the school of Bonnie Parker. And check this out. I noticed on the sides of the building, right here, they had a separate entrance for boys, and on the other side, there's the girls' entrance. We'll go over there in just a second, but yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting. You can see the lights hanging up above. Obviously, these lights weren't here back when this was an active school when Bonnie went here, but yeah, you can have your wedding and stuff here, so that's what these lights are for. A little outdoor venue as well. Very pretty. And right here on the left side of the building, that's the girls' entrance. That's the entrance Bonnie Parker herself more than likely entered back in the day when this was a school, an active school. Right here, this is the girls' entrance. So this building right here, this is on the corner of Swiss and Hall Street, a little east of downtown Dallas. This used to be called Hartgrave's Cafe. This is where Bonnie Parker worked. Right here. She began working here after separating from her husband, Roy Thornton. So if you didn't know that, Bonnie was married prior to meeting Clyde. And now, as far as Clyde goes, some of the reports and things I read online, he worked in this area as well. So maybe at some point Bonnie could have ran into Clyde here. I don't know. But this used to be the Hartgraves Cafe. Now, as recently as 2015, there were plans to turn this vacant building back into a restaurant, but obviously you can tell by looking at it that didn't happen at all. So those plans seem to have been abandoned. But this is where Bonnie worked, waitress right here at the Hartgraves Cafe. And here's the back end of the Hartgraves Cafe, or what used to be the Hartgraves Cafe. You can see there's little, let me kind of zoom in a little bit. You see what used to be like little arches up there where the brick is. It looks like that could have been some windows back in the day. Very interesting.
At another funeral home in Dallas, 3 miles across the city from where Clyde's body lay, lies the body of Bonnie Parker, and here the crowd is even greater. As far as is recorded, Bonnie Parker was the worst woman bandit since the days of Belle Starr. She is the only woman ever to be shot down by officers of the law in attempted capture. Bonnie's burial was attended only by close friends and relatives, which numbered about 150 people, including her sister, Billie Mace, who is now a prisoner of the law, charged with the killing of 2 state highway patrolmen, of which her sister Bonnie had already been accused. Billie Mace is attended at the funeral by 2 deputy sheriffs and a matron of the jail. Clyde Barrow's mother and father, seen in the foreground, and his brother, also pay their respects to the girl who was Clyde's only friend and who died by his side. In the last few words of Bonnie's own poem, which she penned before her death, to a few it means grief, to the law it's relief, but it's death to Bonnie and Clyde. Truly, crime does not pay.
So here we are. This is our final stop here on the Bonnie and Clyde tour around Dallas. Our final stop brings us right here to the Crown Hill Cemetery. It's a little north of Love Field Airport. You can see there's the mausoleum right up that way. That's kind of a good indicator on where Bonnie's grave is. As you're facing that mausoleum, you'll see these long rows of bushes right here. And directly down is the grave of Bonnie Parker right here, and she's buried right next to her. That's her mother right there, Emma Parker. As I mentioned over when we were at Clyde's grave, Emma Parker, Bonnie's mother, yeah, she wasn't too fond of Clyde, which is why they're buried right. She's buried right here next to her mother. And she made her feelings clear after their deaths that she refused to honor Bonnie's wishes of being buried next to Clyde. So, for now, this is where Bonnie sits, or actually lies, buried right here. Died May 23rd, 1934. And if you notice, also, I don't know what's with the Christmas decorations, but Clyde's grave had some garland in one of the trees, some silver garland. And right here above Bonnie, you'll see a little garland too with some ornaments hanging off. I don't know. I'm not sure what the significance of that is, but it's interesting. But as you can tell, people still come out here and leave flowers. They still visit. One of the most popular criminals in history, right here, Bonnie Parker from Bonnie and Clyde. So that's it. I mean, we're going to end it right here at the Crown Hill Memorial Cemetery at Bonnie Parker's grave. I think that's a good ending to our Bonnie and Clyde landmarks and graves around Dallas. So I hope you guys really enjoyed it. And if you get a chance, I don't know if a lot of you may already know this, but 1967 there was a movie made about Bonnie and Clyde. It was called Bonnie and Clyde. It's Warren Beatty, Faye Dunaway. I have not seen it, so I can't comment on it, but very critically acclaimed. So maybe you'll want to go out and watch it after seeing this video, or maybe you don't want to watch it at all. Up to you entirely, but my co-director's over there wandering around, so I think we're ready to go, hit the road, and just call it a day. So again, I hope you guys enjoy it, and we'll see you next time.